"Hand off the scalpel, Dr. Hale." I looked up. Vincent Lang stood just outside the sterile field, arms crossed over his navy blazer, flanked by two people in HR lanyards and clipboards they weren't qualified to hold. The OR lights reflected off his forehead. His mouth moved again, slower, louder. "Put the scalpel down." The patient was unconscious. The cavity was open. I had 4 arterial sutures left. Kara froze at my right. 11 years of experience in her hands. Victor, the anesthesiologist, didn't look up from the monitor, but I saw his jaw lock. His thumb hovered near the med flush valve, ready for anything. "Your license is no longer valid," Lang said. "Effective 10 minutes ago. Per state compliance, you're not permitted to continue." He smiled. Like this was protocol. Like this was normal. I didn't ask for proof. I didn't argue. I didn't remind him I'd renewed last Monday, 7:41 a.m., digitally filed, notarized, approved, time-stamped. All by the book. Instead, I placed the scalpel down on the tray. Clean. Steady. "Vitals are stable," I said. Victor nodded once. Then I stripped off my gloves, peeled off my gown, set both on the back tray. I walked to the door, past the line, and out. No one said a word. Not even Kara. "My name is Dr. Elliot Hale. I'm 47 years old, and until 9 minutes ago, I was the lead trauma and reconstructive surgeon at East Grove Medical Pavilion. I'd returned to work just 4 days earlier. Medical leave. My own. Stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. I beat it. First day back, I performed a triple lap cholecystectomy solo. Ran longer than expected due to misdiagnosed hepatic fusion. Second day, emergency resection for a crash victim. Third, stabilized a burn victim and oversaw an extraction. Fourth day was supposed to be easy. An elective abdominal reconstruction. Private client. Client name, Brielle Carmichael. Except no such person existed. I walked out of the OR to silence. No techs in the hallway. No sounds. Just the soft hum of filtered air and something colder underneath. The badge reader blinked red when I tried to access the physician's elevator. Someone had already killed my credentials. That meant this wasn't about a license. This was an ambush. Vincent Lang had never liked me. He didn't like that I documented everything, even things I wasn't required to. He didn't like that I refused to upcharge private procedures. He didn't like that I wasn't afraid of silence or truth. He once asked me why I never smiled at donor galas. I told him, because we fundraise with champagne and cut corners with gauze. He didn't laugh. I didn't care. But this wasn't personal, not to him. This was political, calculated, precise, risky, and that meant he thought he was protected. I reached the locker room. My nameplate was gone, already removed. My locker was open, contents stacked in a clear tub. Not stolen, just erased. My phone pinged once. Email login failed, password changed. Seconds later, remote access revoked. I stood there in scrubs, half-washed, skin still sticky with antiseptic, and watched my professional identity unravel in real time. Not with noise, not with rage, but deletion. I picked up my watch. Mechanical, not connected to anything. It ticked. I still liked that sound. Outside the hospital, the sun had shifted. I wasn't scheduled to leave for another 2 hours. That meant Vincent was already preparing his press release. I called the licensing board, spoke to a clerk. She confirmed my paperwork was received and marked approved on Tuesday. I asked for a copy of the time-stamped receipt. "Dr. Hale," she said, "your license is fully active." I thanked her and hung up. No tone in my voice, no anger. Just one note in my head. This wasn't a mistake. At home, I changed into clean clothes. I opened my laptop, a personal one, encrypted. I typed 3 names into a secure folder search. One of them matched the patient I'd operated on that morning. The name she gave the hospital wasn't her legal name. Another alias, the third one. I pulled up intake photos, facial structure, dental records, blood type. The patient wasn't just someone using a fake name. She was someone I'd seen before. Her real name was Rachel Delacroix, private client, known associate of a pharmaceutical donor. I performed a minor reconstructive procedure on her 2 years ago after a boating accident. No press, no billing history, cash only. That donor? Vincent Lang. The phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. It rang again. I let it go. A third call, then a voicemail. "Dr. Hale, it's Rachel. I don't know if you remember me. I was your patient today. I wasn't supposed to be on the table. I think something went wrong. I tried to call Vincent, but he's not answering. Please call me. Please. Something feels wrong." She sounded scared. Not hysterical. Just scared. I didn't reply. Not yet. Instead, I stood in my living room, arms crossed, staring out at the street. It was quiet. Same as the OR, same as the hallway, same as the locker room. This wasn't just about me. This wasn't about a license. This was about control. And someone had just used a patient anesthetized unconscious to make a statement. They pulled me from the table, but they didn't know what I'd already seen. And Rachel didn't know who I was the first time I saved her life. She would now. The press release went live 2 hours after I left the hospital. Due to compliance violations regarding license status, East Grove Medical Pavilion has placed Dr. Elliot Hale on indefinite leave pending investigation. Patient safety was not compromised. The procedure in question was completed by qualified staff. I read it on my couch, still in the same shirt, still smelling faintly of iodine and betrayal. The wording was perfect. It didn't accuse me. It just suggested. Subtle enough to cast doubt, loud enough to go viral. By noon the next day, every access point tied to me was dead. Email wiped. My surgical case notes sealed under internal audit. Medical staff Slack removed. Personal locker cleaned out. They left the watch I'd taken off before surgery, the only thing that had my name on it. My nurse, Kara, called me from a burner number. "I'm not supposed to talk to you," she said. "They're saying you walked out on the patient." I didn't reply. I let her sit in the silence. "I've never seen anyone do that," she whispered. "Just walk into a room and pull a surgeon off a living body." "Did you finish the sutures?" I asked. "We did," she said, "but she started bleeding post-op. Not bad, just strange." I heard her hesitate. "They're blaming you. You know that, right?" "I know. They suspended me." That part did sting. The patient called again that evening. "Dr. Hale, please. I'm not accusing you of anything. I know something's wrong. I'm having pain. Not where the sutures are. Lower. I went to an urgent care. They found something. Can we talk?" She wasn't using the fake name now. She said Rachel. I agreed to meet her at a quiet park 20 miles outside the city. Neutral ground, no phones, no recordings, just two people and the weight of what was done. She looked pale, wrapped in a scarf, sunglasses, even though it was cloudy. "He won't call me back," she said. "Vincent, I don't know what I was to him, but he stopped answering." I said nothing. "I think I'm pregnant," she said. "They found a heartbeat." I didn't flinch. She leaned in. "I didn't even know. If you'd kept operating, if they hadn't pulled you out, I might have lost it, right?" I let her sit with the silence. Then I asked one question. "Did Vincent know you were pregnant?" She blinked once, then turned pale. That same night, I received a call from my daughter. "Dad, what the hell is going on?" She was calling from Italy. Her voice carried more fire than mine ever had. "I just got a news alert. Something about a license suspension. Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Is it true?" "No." "Then fight it." I didn't answer. I just listened. Because if you don't, you're telling them they can do it again, to someone else. That was the night I opened the files. 18 months of administrative revisions. 18 surgical cases where post-op reports had been edited after submission. All tagged with Vincent's login. All tied to one name, mine. Some were small. Note adjustments. Some were massive. One altered the timing of a critical patient hemorrhage, which cost the patient his life. That one got settled quietly. I'd never seen the final paperwork. Now I knew why. Vincent wasn't just playing politics. He'd been erasing me long before the OR 3 days later. Kara texted me from a new number. They locked my credentials. I'm done. She didn't ask for help. Didn't say goodbye. Just confirmed what I already knew. This wasn't about me. It was about control. I called Victor, the anesthesiologist, the day after. He didn't pick up. He sent one message. Still employed. But for how long? One sentence. That was all he could risk. I didn't blame him. By the end of the week, I'd received 3 voicemails from Rachel. Her voice got shakier each time. "I'm not safe," she said on the last one. I think I was supposed to be quiet, but I'm not going to be. I'm filing something. I've got a lawyer now." She paused before hanging up. "And, Dr. Hale, thank you for putting the scalpel down. I don't think anyone else would have." I opened my encrypted drive. There was a folder Vincent didn't know existed. Inside, time-stamped, or logs, internal communications, non-network backups of every patient file I'd touched in the last 4 years, and a copy of a consent form, signed under the name Brielle Carmichael. Same signature as a wire transfer slip I'd once seen in a different context. A private payout to a donor's mistress. Donor name, Vincent Lang. I sat in silence. Didn't drink. Didn't pace. I simply moved files from one drive to another. In the quiet, one thought rose through the noise. He walked into my OR to make me disappear, but he forgot something about surgery. When you cut the wrong thing, the bleeding doesn't stop. The malpractice attorney I called answered on the second ring. Her name was Mara Wexley, 41 years old, 20 years in healthcare litigation, never smiled in profile photos. I trusted her immediately. "I'll need 3 things, she said, after I gave her the basics. Proof of license status at the time of surgery, Proof of interference. And one reason this wasn't just administrative incompetence. I sent her a folder. She called back 20 minutes later. I'm in. We met in a diner. Middle of nowhere. Her idea. She wore jeans and no makeup, no briefcase. Just a beat-up iPad and a legal pad full of bullet points. This wasn't a miscommunication, she said. This was an engineered removal. I nodded. Who was the patient? Alias on record, real name's Rachel Delacroix. Mara blinked. The one who just filed for protective status in civil court? I looked up. She did what? Filed a civil protection order against Vincent Lang. Cited emotional coercion and undisclosed medical risk. She's cooperating with another firm too. I nodded again. Then I handed Mara a thumb drive. What's this? She asked. Footage. The OR cam footage from the surgery. My own. Personal, mounted, unapproved, technically against protocol, but not illegal. It showed everything. Time-stamped. Procedure underway. License verified. Vincent entering the room. Interrupting mid-suture. Me complying without resistance. The audio was clean. Too clean. You can't operate. Your license is invalid, Vincent said. The pause. My silence. The blade set down. Then his voice again. We'll finish up. Just walk away, doctor. Then I left. Mara watched it 3 times. She didn't say a word. 4th time through, she hit pause. Zoomed in on the admin badge on Vincent's chest. Badge ID 3821, she said. He had no legal right to intervene in surgery. She scrolled back. Wait, back up. Play the first 10 seconds again. She adjusted the audio. Faint. Under the surgical fan. Almost hidden. A whisper, but not mine. He won't fight. He's not that kind. She paused. You didn't hear this the first time? I wasn't listening for it. She sat back, hands folded. Okay, this just became more than a lawsuit. This became malicious interference in active patient care. We filed a claim with the State Licensing and Oversight Board. Attached, my full license certification file, or footage, timeline of events, signed affidavits from Kara and Victor, historical metadata showing repeated access to patient records under Vincent's admin key after surgeries. Then we sent a packet to Rachel's attorneys. Within 48 hours, a second suit was filed. Unlawful interference in surgical procedure resulting in endangerment of mother and fetus. Her pregnancy was confirmed via ultrasound. Fetal heart rate, healthy. Post-op evidence of ischemic distress. They called it borderline fetal trauma. It wouldn't be borderline for long. I didn't contact Vincent, didn't leak to the press, didn't speak publicly, didn't post a thing. All I did was prepare. Meanwhile, I pulled the surgical logs from the last 18 months, cross-referenced them against insurance submissions, found 9 alterations that couldn't have been made by me, logged after I'd signed off. Vincent's login ID appeared on everyone. Some small, padding time codes, some big, recoding diagnoses for higher reimbursement. One patient was coded posthumously as stable, hours after death. I flagged that one, sent it to Mara. She sent it to someone else. I didn't ask who. 2 more ex-staff contacted me, a former janitor, a retired records tech. Both had stories about patient files being shredded after hours. Neither had proof, but both were willing to testify. Mara added their names to a growing list. I opened my encrypted drive again. There was a file Vincent didn't know I had, from 2 years ago, a donor gala. A backroom conversation caught on a lav mic I never turned off. Vincent bragging to someone about making that surgeon dance without knowing who's paying for the music. That audio wasn't relevant yet, but I kept it ready. Rachel sent me one more message, text only. They're trying to buy me out. His lawyer offered to settle quietly. I'm saying no, you didn't walk away from me. I won't walk away from you. I read it twice. Didn't reply. Instead, I sent a single email to Mara. Initiate full claim, include the footage. Name him personally. No redactions. She responded in 6 words. I've waited my whole career for this. That night, I checked East Grove's website. My name was still gone, but something had changed. Their legal contact page had been updated. It no longer linked to internal counsel. It now listed an external firm. Big, expensive, crisis-focused. They were bracing for impact. The first lawsuit hit the news on a Thursday morning. Former patient files suit alleging administrator interfered with surgery for personal reasons. Fetus potentially endangered by mid-procedure termination. Private hospital under fire for alleged abuse of power by executive administrator. The photo they used wasn't of Rachel. It was me. A still from a charity event, mask in hand, surgical gown half unzipped, looking away from the camera. I hadn't been notified. That was intentional. Vincent didn't release a statement, but East Grove did. We are cooperating with all relevant authorities. The safety of our patients is our highest priority. No denial. No acknowledgement. Just a corporate shrug. The Licensing and Oversight Board responded less politely. They issued a formal apology. Our systems confirm that, doctor. Elliot Hale's license was fully valid, active, and compliant at the time of the procedure in question. We regret any misrepresentation of his status. Then they posted the time-stamped file on their website, public access, PDF, signed, notarized, dated. Exactly 7:41 a.m. Monday, just like I'd told them. By noon, 2 more things happened. Kara, my scrub nurse, was reinstated. A subpoena was delivered to East Grove for access to the OR logs and surgical camera footage. They didn't know the hospital's camera file had already been deleted, but I had mine. Mara submitted it with our complaint. Vincent called me. Once. Private number. I let it go to voicemail. Elliot, call me. We can clear this up before it gets messier than it needs to be. I didn't call back. I saved the message. Mara sent it to the press. The second lawsuit dropped 2 days later, filed by Rachel's attorney. Negligence, breach of medical trust, emotional coercion, and endangerment of unborn child. It was worded clinically, but the implications were surgical. Rachel's legal team confirmed the baby's paternity. Vincent Lang confirmed through blood panel cross-reference and secondary affidavit. There was no more denial, just silence. The hospital board scheduled a closed-door emergency session. Vincent wasn't invited. That same night, I received a copy of an email. Effective immediately, Vincent Lang is placed on administrative leave pending internal investigation. He hadn't been fired, but he was bleeding now, and everyone smelled it. I didn't celebrate. I didn't smile. I scheduled a meeting with Mara and Rachel's legal team. We weren't done. The third lawsuit was already drafted. Fraudulent misrepresentation of patient records, coercive administrative interference, intentional suppression of credential documentation, all with evidence, all with signatures. We waited to file. Let the other 2 build heat. Meanwhile, East Grove's legal team requested a settlement conference. They didn't want to fight. They wanted to cut losses, make it go away. Mara declined. We're not settling, she told them. We're setting precedent. Rachel's voice cracked the first time she appeared on camera. She didn't cry, she didn't accuse. She just said, I didn't know I was pregnant. And the man I trusted to protect me was the one who tried to erase the person who could have saved me. Then she looked straight into the lens. And he still might. The hospital CEO released a statement the next day. They praised my professionalism, apologized, expressed hope for a path forward. I ignored it. They hadn't called when I was stripped mid-surgery. They didn't ask questions when I disappeared. They hadn't spoken for me until the public did. That week, I received a letter, plain envelope, no return address. Inside was a typed sentence. They're going to try to bury it. You're not done yet. There was no signature. I showed it to Mara. She smiled. Good. That means they're scared. The anesthesiologist, Victor, reached out finally. 1 sentence, text only. I'm ready to testify. Send the paperwork. He didn't say more. He didn't need to. 1 night later, a video went viral. It wasn't ours. It was from a surgical resident who'd been in a gallery box during the procedure. A phone recording, blurry, far away. But you could hear the words. Hand off the scalpel, Dr. Hale. Your license is no longer valid. We'll finish up. Then the sound of the tray, the soft clink of metal, and silence. A clip of that video aired on the nightly news. The anchor's voice was cold. This isn't just policy overreach. This is a man being erased for getting in the way of someone more powerful. But Dr. Hale didn't yell. He didn't protest. He just set the scalpel down and walked away. He didn't know the camera was rolling. But I did. The third lawsuit was filed on a Monday. No press release, no press conference. Just a file dropped to the public docket at 8:04 a.m. Fraudulent billing, coerced documentation, and procedural manipulation by a non-medical administrator. Plaintiff, Dr. Elliot Hale. The board tried to stay quiet. They couldn't. By Tuesday, 2 more employees came forward, a records technician, a procurement assistant. Both had been asked to modify or delete entries tied to post-operative reports. Both said no. Both had been transferred to non-critical departments. One was terminated. The other filed suit the same week. Rachel appeared on national television. Hair pulled back, simple clothes, 1 hand resting on her stomach. A producer had tried to coach her. She ignored them. I don't want revenge, she said. I want protection. For women who get used and thrown away. For patients, for unborn children. And for the doctor they tried to silence. Her voice cracked once. But she didn't cry. Vincent Lang's name was scrubbed from East Grove's website on Wednesday. No title, no email, no photo. Just gone. They didn't announce it. But the internet noticed. Executive quietly removed amid ongoing scandal. The CEO of East Grove released a statement at 11:45 p.m. We thank Mr. Lang for his service and are committed to regaining public trust. It was 2 sentences long. Vincent's name didn't appear again. Mara called me on Thursday. They're offering settlement, she said. Again? this time with terms. How much? 7 figures. NDA. Permanent sealing. No admission of fault. And Rachel? They offered her the same. I paused. No. Mara smiled into the phone. I could hear it. Good. I received an email that night. Anonymous sender. No subject. 1 image attached. Vincent Lang's house. A photo taken from outside. Zoomed in on the 2nd floor. Vincent, alone, sitting on a bed, looking straight ahead. I deleted the file, but not before saving it somewhere he'd never find. East Grove's largest donor pulled out on Friday. Official reason, strategic restructuring. Unofficial reason, we don't fund scandals. The dominoes kept falling. A senior partner from the hospital's law firm resigned. He cited irreconcilable ethical conflicts. The board was replaced. Interim administrators were installed. Kara was promoted to head of surgical operations. Victor, the anesthesiologist, took a leave of absence. He sent me a message. I'm not coming back. I don't want to be in a room where that happened. I didn't reply. The hospital's name was changed. Same building, same staff, new branding, new signage. East Grove Medical Pavilion became Harborview Surgical Institute. They removed the old plaques, repainted the wall that held the donor names, deleted the website archive. They were trying to make it look like it never happened. But the internet remembers. Rachel sent me a letter. Typed. Mailed. No email. I've decided to raise the child alone. I've already changed my name again. But I wanted to thank you. You saved 2 lives that day. Mine. And someone who'll never know what you gave up for them. You didn't have to put the scalpel down. But you did. That's the kind of person I want my child to grow up knowing existed. I didn't write back. I just folded the letter. Slid it into a drawer. Next to my surgical credential ID. The one they never returned. That week, the Attorney General launched a formal investigation into East Grove's billing practices. Mara forwarded me the complaint. Vincent Lang was named first, then the CEO, then the board, then the silent partners who'd funded the cover-ups for years. Systemic abuse of administrative power resulting in patient risk, fraud, and retaliatory employment practices. The phrase repeated 5 times. Retaliatory employment practices. I received one last thing. A package. No return address. Inside, my OR gloves from the day of the surgery sealed in a sterile bag. A printed photo. The moment I set down the scalpel. A handwritten note. This is what it looks like when integrity wins. There was no signature, but I recognized the handwriting. Rachel. I didn't frame the gloves. Didn't keep the photo, but I kept the note. Folded it once. Slid it into my pocket. Then I went for a walk. It was raining, but my hands were steady. 6 months later, I was standing in a converted shipping container off the coast of Honduras. Charity surgical initiative. No press, no board meetings, no administrators, just 12 beds, 2 nurses, and an old generator that coughed every 3rd hour. I hadn't performed a procedure under fluorescent lights since I left East Grove. I didn't miss it. Every patient I operated on now signed their name with a fingerprint. Most didn't speak English. None of them knew what I'd done before. That helped. It reminded me that being needed doesn't mean being known. A journalist emailed me in January. She wanted to do a feature, The Man Who Walked Away Mid-Surgery and Still Saved a Life. I didn't reply. She followed up. Your silence makes it louder. She wasn't wrong, but I still deleted the message. Rachel never contacted me again. Her lawsuits were settled. Her name changed again. She disappeared from search results by the 3rd month. But once, a letter reached the clinic. No return address. Inside was a photo. A child. Newborn. Wrapped in a blanket with a stitched name on it. Not hers, not Vincent's, just Eli. The note said, after the only man I trust with a scalpel. I folded it. Didn't smile. But something shifted inside. Not healing, just placement. Like a bone clicking back into joint. East Grove was gone. Rebranded. New board, new legal team, new name. Vincent Lang was under indictment for 7 charges, including patient endangerment, data falsification, financial fraud, conspiracy to suppress whistleblower reports. He posted bail and vanished from public view. No LinkedIn, no lawsuits, just gone, like a failed transplant. Mara took on 4 new cases after mine. All similar, all buried, until now. She told me, yours wasn't a story. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.